them to not know what to do when they have to do this. So we are going to give this the title Rainfall Amounts. And the first thing that I'm noticing is that they have given me what looks like a number line. And on this number line I see 0, I see half, and I see whole. I also see 2 other markings. What do you think we could call these 2 marking names? What could we call that, Francisco?
1/4.
And?
3/4.
And how did you come up with that?
Because it says 1/2 in the middle and there's no other 1/2 besides 1/2 and 1. So I partitioned it into 3/4.
So when we look at how it is partitioned, exactly right, we see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. So our denominator would need to be 4. So I am also going to call this 1/4. This would be 2/4. But I'm not going to write that answer down because 1/2 and 2/4 are the same, and 1/2 is the preferred name. And then I'm going to write 3/4. I kind of glance up here at my information. I got a 2. I probably know where that is. The fourths can be labeled. I also see the denominator of 8. What do you think we need to do now before we start labeling or jotting down this information? Isla? Not sure? Graham?
Put lines in the middle of each fraction.
So we need to figure out where eighths are. So if I cut a 4th in half, and I cut this in half, and in half, and in half, your body should be facing this direction, sir. Turn your body. No. Crisscross. Thank you. And put your stuff in your lap. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal pieces. So now can I label this in eighths? So this would be 1/8. 2/8. I'm not going to label because 1/4 would be the preferred name. 3/8. 4/8. But again, 1/2 is the preferred name. 5/8. 6/8, but again, 3/4 is the smaller name. And then we have 7/8. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fill in this table really quickly. So we have a dot plot that we're creating. And so 1 dot represents 1 day of rain. That's kind of important. We need to make our key. So we've got our title, we've got our key, and now we've got to fill this in. So very carefully, I'm going to go through and plot this information. 1/2, we had 1 dot that's going to go on the 1/2, and then I'm going to carefully mark it out. 3/8, I'm going to give myself a dot, and I'm going to mark that out. 5/8, and I'm going to mark that out. 1 whole, going to mark that, and then I'm going to mark it off. 3/4, 1/2, again. 5/8, again. 1/4, 1/4, and 5/8. How many days did it rain? 5/8. 3. How many days did it rain more than a 1/4 but less than a 1/2?
5.
Please raise your hand. How many days did it rain more than a 1/4 but less than a half. Graham. 1 day. So oftentimes boys and girls forget or they get confused. If I said more than a fourth, then would that include 1/4? It would not. So I would mark my graph. You don't need to mark yours, but I would just kind of mark it right here so that I know I don't need to include that. And if I said less than a half, does that include the number 1/2? That means that I would include only this. How many days did it rain more than a fourth but less than a half? 1 day, because we have 1 dot. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
So you ought to, at ease, answer this question. How many times did it rain more than a half but less than 3/4? Go ahead and look at number 6 right now.